The Twilight Zone. The room guilt built. There are episodes of The Twilight Zone that pretend to be ghost stories, but are really autopsies of the mind. The Encounter is one of them, a story where the Twilight Zone uses a single attic to expose how guilt can imprison two men long after the world has moved on. Two men stand in that attic, one sword on the table, and a door that refuses to open. And the Twilight Zone does not ask us to believe in magic, but to understand how belief itself becomes a prison. The attic is the first clue. It is not an attic at all. It is the interior landscape of a mind in the Twilight Zone, a place where every relic of remembered injury and every artifact of imagined sin is carefully stored. Uniforms, medals, old newspapers, boxes unopened for 20 years. If guilt had a physical address in the Twilight Zone, this would be the room it rented. A place where the past is not past but paused. Into this room walks Fenton, a veteran who insists the war is over but lives inside it, as though the Twilight Zone refused to let it end. His life is frayed at every edge. His job is gone. His marriage is collapsing. His temper is short and his drinking steady. He tells old war stories with a pride that never quite reaches his eyes, because underneath them lies the truth he has never faced. He killed a Japanese soldier after the man surrendered. He has hidden this for 20 years, and even when he speaks it aloud, he hides behind the shield of orders, as though obedience could absolve him. But the bottle is the giveaway. No one drinks every day because they feel righteous. They drink because they believe something unforgivable has attached itself to their name. Then comes Taro, or Arthur, a man shaped by a different wound that the Twilight Zone brings to the surface the moment he steps into the attic. He says he works hard. He says he belongs. Yet when Fenton calls him boy, something buried cracks open because it touches a belief he has carried since childhood. He is Japanese American, but Pearl Harbor carved a wound into him that no amount of assimilation could erase. He first tells his story as heroism. His father warned the sailors. His father stood on the docks as bombs fell. His father died honorable. Then the story snaps in half, the way truths often do in the Twilight Zone when guilt begins to speak. He claims his father was a traitor who guided the planes. This is not memory. This is guilt using his voice. The boy never found a place to put his terror, so he placed it on his father and then on himself. What makes this unmistakably the Twilight Zone is that nothing supernatural is required to explain the haunting. Guilt always looks for an object to inhabit. In this attic, it finds a sword. The sword is the perfect Twilight Zone symbol. Heavy, ancient, engraved with a promise of vengeance. Fenton says he tried to sell it, give it away or throw it out, and it always returned, exactly the way unresolved guilt returns in so many Twilight Zone tales. Objects do not come back. Beliefs do. The sword appears cursed because guilt in the Twilight Zone takes the shape of whatever a character is most afraid to face. The symmetry grows clearer. Fenton carries the guilt of killing someone who surrendered. Taro carries the guilt of being connected to someone he believes betrayed his country. Neither guilt is grounded in present reality. Both are anchored to stories that cannot be verified, corrected, or changed. Because they cannot change the past, they punish themselves in the present. That is why they cannot leave the attic. The door does not trap them. Their belief does. When Taro begins speaking as though the sword itself is revealing truths, the Twilight Zone is not introducing a curse, but dramatizing how guilt behaves when it is not questioned. If guilt is real, guilt must accuse. If sin is real, someone must pay. The sword becomes the voice of the ego demanding punishment. The confrontation rises because neither man knows how to face the pain inside him. Fenton hides behind alcohol. Taro hides behind anger. Both are trying to rearrange the outer world to escape an inner world they refuse to examine. The attic intensifies because the mind intensifies. The air thickens because belief thickens. The door will not open because the mind will not open. When the struggle peaks, the sword falls, wedges into the table, and becomes the instrument of Fenton's death. Taro pulls him onto the blade because the guilt inside him demands a sacrifice. Then he jumps through the window because he believes there is no other story left for him. Neither man dies by a supernatural force. They die by the meaning they assign to the past, which is the engine behind every tragedy in the Twilight Zone. Serling ends with the truth stated plainly. Their common bond was guilt. Their common enemy was guilt. Nothing outside them caused anything. This was never a haunting. It was a belief system. The real encounter was not between an American and a Japanese American. It was between two faces of the same unresolved mind. A mind that still believes something happened that should not have, and that punishment is the only path forward. In the Twilight Zone, the past never strikes. Only the belief in it does.